I am Anthony from HashLegionNet, and you are about to watch one of two parts of the GameStop How to Become Profitable video. This video ran long and required that it be cut in half. My hope is that you will view both parts and leave any comments that you may have. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. Hey everybody, it's Anthony from HashLegionNet, and after polling some of my viewers, I was like, okay, what should I do next? And the responses were pretty good. So I thought, you know what, this is what we're going to do now. I'm basically putting out a message to GameStop. So specifically for the CEO, George Sherman, Executive Chairman of the Board of Directors, DeMatteo, GameStop employees and customers. All of you, I feel like this is a message that is like what we see as customers and in some cases former employees, that you really need to like go, okay, we need to change what we're doing because we're killing our business. And when I think of the way that GameStop is turning, I think of Bain Capital. If you may remember, they bought KB Toys and destroyed it. I don't know if the rumor mill's like, oh, you know, they burned it down so they can like insure it, so they can get money out of the insurance, and then they can get money out of the assets, and it starts to look like the GameStop's doing the same thing. Please let it not be so. But then Bain Capital went and did Toys R Us and did the same thing. Now, if that for some independent and savvy people bringing back a couple of stores, there would be no Toys R Us at all right now. But I have a list of some compiled recommendations for GameStop that I'd hope you would seriously consider going on, because current tactics aren't working. So first, I want to tell you to stop biding your time and by wasting it with quick fixes like tech trades or hopes of huge financial turnarounds due to new console releases. What I'm going to recommend are fairly cheap and easy fixes, plus your employee morale is kind of low. I mean, like really low. So this will make for happier employees, which means happier customers and more money. You want money, right? I mean, as they're recording right now, your shares are like $4.20, and they were going down in predictions for the opening market in a couple of hours. So our first one here is stop enforcing and penalizing on tech trades. It is more expensive to fire people for not making a goal 3 weeks in a row and training a replacement than simply not placing your business's success on this effort. I get it. You want to get a whole bunch of information. You want to get a whole bunch of junk phones. Throw them over to some country in Asia or wherever. Off-haul them for just a big turnaround. Basically what you've been doing for video games for the last 20 plus years. And then here, that's some quick money. And yeah, it is admittedly some quick money, but the methods in which the company is currently taking are basically destroying the morale of the company. And this is the biggest offender. I get the allure. I get this quick cash, but it's making you look bad. Next, ignore negative social media campaigns and stop asking employees to discredit claims. It makes you look desperate, and it tells investors not to spend money on you guys. It says, hey investors, we're petty people. We're just going to run this in the ground, making ourselves look bad. It is a PR nightmare. If you don't know me, I'm going to tell you straight up, you can go find my personal website where my resume is. I actually have a master's degree in business, or technically management. It's public administration, but I also have 2 business degrees below that, also management. And I look at your business right now and I go, ugh. And here's the funny thing. Business, as a course, says if employees are doing bad, it's because the managers are doing bad. And this is clearly a manager blaming the employees for their problems when it's almost always, the manager's fault. Do not request that employees market the company on off hours, as it can be considered illegal depending upon the nature of the request. When I worked for GameStop, which I did, and I worked at 2 different stores, I loved working for GameStop. I would go and promote on social media, hey man, check out what we're doing this weekend. I got people into the store. I had full-on groups of friends coming into the store while I was working there buying things. I sold PlayStation 3s when they first came. Was it PlayStation 3? No, it was PlayStation 4s when they first came out. And I had multiple friends come in at the same time, each buying a system, because I said, hey, we're having a sale. And yeah, when you tell people they have to do it, they feel less inclined to do it. Plus, if you're telling them to do it and not getting paid for it, that's a whole other kettle of fish. So one of the things, back before GameStop / FuncoLand happened, EB Games and the independent stores in this area all did demos. You could walk into the store and play a console and choose a game, and they would stick it into the system, and you can play that, or you can play demos. Now, I understand that, like Sony and Nintendo, and occasionally Microsoft will throw into the stores these little demo kiosks with a few games and videos. There are stores that don't have them at all, and I feel like GameStop should really take it into their own hands, you know? So for offering in-store demos, they should specifically be pre-owned consoles and games. That way you're not opening up packaging and wasting value right there. Because I realize the margin for profit on a new game is fairly low as well as consoles. So your bread and butter is in the pre-owned games. But what you do is you have a pre-owned Microsoft system, a pre-owned Nintendo system, a pre-owned Sony system. Have them with their own dedicated monitors, I should say. And then the newest pre-owned game that you guys have, like put into the game slot or the disk drive or whatever, ready to be booted up, and then demos, because all of them have demos. You did demos. I would hope you have Wi-Fi or something in the store. I mean, you don't necessarily need it to keep the things updated, but to allow people, one, to see the newest features of the system, two, to see the game offerings, and they're going to buy them from you, because they're obviously in that store for a reason. Otherwise, they would have already bought them online. So you're basically giving them access to seeing what they want to buy, and then you're saying, here's some additional stuff you can get from us. It seems like it's just a real easy thing to do. Which is funny because I have a later thing about GameStop TV and what you can do with that monitor. Anyway, offer in-store tournaments with paid entries and prize support. I've actually done this for a couple of the GameStops in the area. I am actually an official organizer for another game companies. But let's say GameStop takes 20% off the top. If you do not want to pay an employee to organize it, offer half of the profits, 10% of that 20%, to an officially sanctioned organizer or representative of one of the game companies. As an organizer, we not only run the event, we also market it, we sanction it, we make sure that the whole world knows it exists. And then you can either use organizers such as myself, or you can go and say, hey, can your rep do this for us? Good example, around the holiday times, Best Buy had a contract with Nintendo for Best Buy Day, and Nintendo was running full-on tournaments and giveaways. These things are options you can actually do. But anyway, this also includes trading card games. Now, most GameStops don't have room to host a tournament, but there are local restaurants nearby, and in the case of the events I've run for GameStops that require table space, I would meet everybody up at GameStop. Sometimes we'd have prize support provided by GameStop, although not the case in recent years. Then we would go to the restaurant across the street or on the side of the building or in the parking lot, and all they would have to do there is order a drink at minimum, which makes the restaurants happy. I mean, if you've got 20 plus people, that's $100 already, for a few hours of them sitting there and playing a game. And then, as long as the restaurant isn't experiencing like the Super Bowl on that day or something, you should be able to, almost any restaurant would be more than willing to oblige. Okay, so the other one is offer more for trades based on external market pricing, and then sell overflow content via online resources. It leads into my next idea, and then I can go together here, but utilize Amazon.com. As many companies do, like Hasbro, for example, and rid yourself of overstock. So what you do is, okay, so here's a good example. GameValueNow.com. They aggregate market information to come up with what they consider the market price for new, pre-owned, etc. games. And then this gives you an idea of what to buy at. Now, sometimes you guys are actually either above or below the price, but I feel like if you go, well, if you want to know what Game Value Now, I'm sure you can set up some type. It's like an independent site, so you probably can set up some type of relationship with them. People would appreciate the prices more. They're going to win sometimes. Sometimes you guys are going to win. It just depends on what the marketplace says. But then you take anything you have left over that didn't sell, and you throw it on Amazon, and then Amazon can do the free shipping Prime thing, or you do more with your website, which I'll get into in a few. So the next thing I had is this is offer video game rentals. I know you guys tried it for a little bit, and your system couldn't handle it. Maybe you need a separate system. Frankly, I feel like with all the people in digital now, a lot of people would be willing to go disc for trying a game out before they maybe buy it in digital, but at least you're going to get that money. And so we'll do a monthly fee for $10, and then an option, of course, to buy at the premium price if you really love the game. And I say $10 a month, but then there's $5 for each additional game they want to add at the same time. So you could potentially get somebody who wants, let's say, 3 games. They're going to pay $20 to rent those 3 games for up to a month. And after, now, I should simply say this, credit cards only. Because if after a month they don't seem to return the game, you don't want to be basically robbed. You want to charge them for those games. So you will charge them after a month, and they'll be forced to pay the full pre-owned price of that game. So another thing, openly offer the $15 Game Informer digital subscription with a pro membership. Digital magazines cost companies almost nothing to provide, and frankly, in many cases, you're either sending them emails saying, hey, the new issue's out, download here, or they're going to your website to download it. I don't see where this is a lost proposition. This is making some serious money, and you're going to get a lot more people to sign up on digital and never have to produce a paper product for it. It's just basically making bank, man. I mean, if I know a number of people who didn't know there was even a digital magazine because you guys don't directly offer it. Most of the time when people go into a GameStop and say, hey, would you like to get a pro membership? It's $20 a year. You get 12 issues of the mag, plus all these other benefits. And they're like, sure. And then they give them their address, and then a magazine shows up. They didn't know they had an option to go digital. And in fact, that digital is a little bit less than physical. I mean, again, it's pure profit almost, right? I mean, yes, you're paying Game Informer staff, but I mean, still.
Thank you for checking out our content. Before you leave, please remember to click like and then subscribe. If you want to receive notifications, do not forget to enable them by clicking on the bell. Then afterwards, check out our social media at HasledgeNet and our website at hasledge.net.